All right, question for you. Is democracy working in this country? If you ask that around, there's a good chance it wouldn't be too long before you might start a fight. But some researchers are asking that question right now, trying to better understand Americans' lived experiences.
Yeah, it's called the Democracy for All Project. The Kettering Foundation and Gallup Polling are working across a number of different racial, religious, and socioeconomic factors to better understand how we perceive and experience democracy. So let's dive into this. We're joined live this morning by Dr. Ellen Maese, Research Director at Gallup, and Brad Rourke, Chief External Affairs Officer at the Kettering Foundation, to dive deeper into this. Good morning to you both. Appreciate the time.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Interesting issue. Brad, let's start with you and just explaining what this project, Democracy for All, is all about and why do this now?
Yeah, we hope not to start a fight, as Emily was mentioning. People's satisfaction with democracy is at a really critically low point right now, and it's been getting that way for decades. And there's disagreement about why that is. People disagree about what they feel is going wrong and what's going right. We think there's no better time to be asking the kinds of questions that we're going to be asking, which really are intended to get at people's everyday, daily lives and how that affects their understanding of this democracy that we all share and live through. So things like, you know, our hopes, our opportunities, our sense of community, even we want to get at how that shapes people's understanding of democracy.
Well, Brad, do you think that there is a bit of a chasm right now between what democracy, the traditional definition of democracy is, and how many Americans see it taking shape in their lives?
Yeah, democracy has been evolving on the planet for centuries, and we're really trying to get at questions about like how people feel about democracy and get past these textbook definitions, which in the past have traditionally been got at through questions like, you know, how do you feel about the Supreme Court, or how do you feel about the institution of Congress? We think it's time to ask a different set of questions that really get at how included do people feel in democracy, and is it working for them? So questions like, does my voice matter and is it heard? Am I treated fairly? If I have a problem in my community, will people step forward and help me? You know, the questions like these are ones that really shape people's understanding of this democracy that we all share and live through and live with. And so understanding that, we think, is critical to being able to forge a more inclusive and better democracy.
Well, Dr. Maese, I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Again, you're the research director at Gallup, and so you can really dive into the key elements of this survey. What are those elements, and what do you think that will show in reflecting the outcomes of this project?
Look, we've all been hearing a lot of talk about democracy for quite a few years now, and we're certainly not the first to think that we need some more research here. But this work is very different from a lot of what's out there. First of all, as Mr. Rourke said, this is a survey about how Americans feel about their democracy every day. We want to know if Americans feel that the system is working, and more importantly, whether it's working for them. Is it representing their needs and their voices? We want to know if they have the opportunities that they want to be a part of the system, or if they even want to be a part of the system at this point. It's also our opportunity as researchers to take some extra steps to make sure that all Americans are being included in conversations about democracy. There's a real question for a lot of us about whose perceptions, whose voices, and whose opinions are really being heard when we're talking about democracy right now. This is our chance to make sure that Americans from all walks of life get their voice heard and have the opportunity to stand up and say what they think is going on in this country right now. It's also an opportunity for us to develop something that will last for generations, to not just run a survey, but to really develop a sense of tracking the evolution of Americans' democracy for the years to come, to find out where meaningful improvements are being made or where there are emerging challenges that we need to get ahead of to change the course of our future.
Yeah, it's interesting, Dr. Maese, because that want to include all voices in this research is something that I think Americans have been critical of in polling over the last couple election cycles. So how do you plan to reach out to all Americans and really feel that that is reflected in insights from this project?
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot of Americans out there right now who feel like they are not valued, they are not heard, they are not taken seriously in this country. And so that's really a mission of this work, is to make sure that we're reaching Americans everywhere. That's Americans who live in big cities and Americans who live nowhere near a city, those who have been here for, their families have been here for generations, and those who are just starting their journeys as Americans. And we do that by being really thoughtful about how we reach out to people and who we reach out to make sure we're getting a representative cross-section of the nation, to make sure we're reaching people, through the internet, through text message, but through paper and pencil surveys for those who don't have access to that kind of technology, and really being thoughtful about where Americans' voices lie and how we can reach them where they're at.
Interesting conversation, interesting project here. And Dr. Mayase and Brad Warwick, really appreciate your time joining us here on AM Extra to dive deeper into this.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. And again, you can find more information for the Democracy for All project right now on coin.com. Interesting conversation there.
Yeah, it is.
Well, caught on